First, I want to tell you how proud I am of your geometry accomplishments. I know you may still be struggling, but I'll look for your growth. Just think how much you have learned about geometry since August. Crazy, isn't it? So, this website I have pulled up here has 7 basic steps in solving proofs. So, very quickly, we're going to run through these 7 steps. Number 1, drawing the diagram. Okay, so you're going to draw out the diagram. Number 2 is identify the known information. Known is the given information. The number 3 is choose the correct theorems to prove the congruency. So SAS is side, angle, side. Notice you got a side here, you have an angle here, and you have a side. So just following through the plan. And then we get into setting up the 2-column proof. You should be familiar with that by now. Write down the givens. Use the appropriate theorems, definitions, and postulates. Okay, so the given and the last statement are usually the easiest. It's coming up with the stuff in the middle that we're working on. Order the proof logically, and that will get you there. Okay, this part I've heard a few of you saying that you're having trouble with. Well, you know your given goes at the top, your proof statement, triangle, congruence, and the criteria goes here. In between are going to be those definitions and postulates that I had you write in your Do Now on Monday. Okay, so how to prove sides and how to prove angles. The I can statement for today is I can prove triangle congruence and use criteria in proofs. This is what we've been doing the last few days. Okay. If you will go ahead and take a moment to pause the video and get out your CPCTC worksheet paper, I'm going to complete number 3 and number 4 on page 5 and 6 for further explanation. So go ahead and pause your video. Okay, so this is number 3 on page 5. And I'm going to go ahead and prove out a couple because we haven't done one quite like this this week together. Okay, here goes my pen. Let's see if we can, there it goes, it's working now. Okay, so we're going to look at the given. Now if you're doing yours on notebook paper, you know you're going to have to write this down. Just teasing. It acted like it was working. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open this worksheet back up. I had a little technical difficulty with my pen. Let me go ahead and scroll down here to number 3 on page 5 again. Okay, make it a little bit bigger for us. There we go, nice and big. All right, now we're rolling. So I haven't done a triangle quite like this, and I wanted to do this proof with you. So on your paper, you will have to do the given, and you need to sketch this shape. Next step is you want to take this given information and mark it on your triangle. So this triangle isn't marked up for us. So this first statement in the given says AC is congruent to AB. These are sides because they have bars above them. So here's AC from point A to point C is congruent from A to R. A to R. That one's congruent. So angle A is congruent to angle 2. So these are angle marks. So I don't even think I said that right. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So here we go. Angle 1 to angle 2. Now we want to prove that angle 3 and angle 4. So we want to prove that this angle is congruent to this angle. The easiest way to prove it is first prove that these two triangles are congruent. So if they're not right triangles, which these are not, they haven't given us any information to think that they're right triangles, the first thing that I want to do is I want to see if I can, what I have. I have a side and I have an angle. So we know we have a side and we have an angle, but we need a third thing. So do we need another angle or do we need another side is kind of your question at the moment. Well, there's something that should stick out right here to you. You notice that these crisscross right along here, which means they form special angles right here. In those crisscross, where they form, we have something called vertical angles. So this angle is congruent to this angle. Now remember, I say this angle, it's both sides of angle A here, but if I was going to name them, I'd have to use 3 letters. So like CAL is congruent to RAS. So we know which side of A we're talking about, but they're congruent by vertical angles. Now we don't have another side, but we have another angle. Okay, so that gives us 2 angles and a side. This side is not here between these 2 angles. So therefore the order we want to go is angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. Okay, and this proves the triangles are congruent, which means now every angle is congruent to another angle. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 4 because the triangles are congruent. And we state our reason for it as being CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. This first statement comes from our given, so this would be your given statement. Your next given statement, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, is given. Angle CAL. CAL is congruent to RAS. That's these 2 little blue angle marks. We stated that they were congruent based off vertical angles. And you could put definition of vertical angles, but they didn't give me a very big spot to write, did they? Now we know the 2 triangles are congruent because of the congruency criteria, angle, angle, side. And then the last thing is to say the proof statement. Your hard work is done. You're just copying down this piece. My my reason is CPCTC. They had my statement over here, angle 3, congruent to angle 4. So the big point we want to point out in this is these vertical angles. Notice right here I have my 2 givens. I have my final response. At this point, this was my definition. This had 2 triangles. Anytime you have 2 triangles, you have to use one of these congruence criteria. Side, 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 side angle, side, so on. It happened that this one worked for us. All right, we're going to do one more. I'm going to move faster on the next one. So I'm doing number 4 on the next page. Again, pause if you need to draw it down. We're going to go ahead and kick off with this one really quick. Okay, so angle NLM is congruent to angle LNO. So here we go, tracing NLM, that's this little piece, is congruent to LNO. LNO right here. Ooh, if we had parallel lines, we could say we had alternate interior angles. OLN, OLN, this little piece is congruent to MNL. MNL. So I turned right here at N. Okay, so we're given those 2. And now it says prove angle M is congruent to angle O. So I want to prove this is congruent to this. Angle O, angle M. Now we know angle, angle, angle does not work. So I definitely need to find something else. So I've got 2 angles. So I know I have 2 options. We're either going to prove the triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle. Okay, it just depends on the order of the side. Now when I look at this, I know I need a side. You know, this to this, I don't have anything over here to help me. This to this, I don't have anything to help me. But there is something special about LN, and most of you are getting this now. LN belongs in both triangles. They share it. Therefore, it makes it congruent by reflexive property. Okay, so now we've proved them congruent. Let's see how. We have angle, side, angle. Okay, if I look at my other triangle, angle, side, angle. So not this order, angle, side, angle. All right, so our statements. This is a given. Okay, they gave us the statement for that. This is our other given. Next is your hint, reflexive property. What up here in our triangle did we mark as reflexive property? LN congruent. I'm going to write it the other way, NL. Okay, you could write it as LN congruent to LN as well. Then you have triangle LMN. We got to finish out the triangle congruency. So LMN is the first triangle. So therefore this one has to be NOL. And that's based off, we wrote it right here, angle, side, angle. My proof statement comes from right here, which is my last statement. So I'm going to copy that into here. Angle M is now congruent to angle O based off our new 5-letter favorite word, CPCTC. Okay, now you're going to finish your activity that's posted in Google Classroom. Hopefully you're close. It's due at the end of the hour today, and your CPCTC worksheet will be due tomorrow. Good luck, guys.